criticizing a proposed regulation by the Education Ministry that would limit the size of private examination preparation schools in a move designed to force them to close down. Main opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, Istanbul Deputy Akif Hamzaçebi has said that the Education Ministry is only legally entitled to use such regulations in order to open more prep schools. Despite a recent ruling by the Constitutional Court annulling a controversial law by the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, that sought to close down prep schools, known in Turkish as dershanes, the Education Ministry is planning to introduce regulations that many commentators have said are designed to close prep schools. Speaking with today's Zaman on Monday, Hamzaçebi, who first appealed to the Constitutional Court last year about the law that sought to close down dershanes, said that the AK Party government is an interim administration and so cannot make such an important decision as if it was a single-party government. Hamzaçebi emphasized that decisions by the Constitutional Court are final and that violating its rulings via arbitrary regulations is a crime. In its recent decision, released on July 23, the top court said that it had annulled the law because it was in violation of the constitutionally guaranteed freedoms of education and to operate a company for profit. The court also stated that prep schools cannot be closed down unless adequate alternatives are provided for students to prepare for standardized exams. However, reports in the pro-government media last week claimed that the AK Party, which announced in 2013 that would introduce a law to close down the prep schools, will curtail the activities of prep schools through an Education Ministry regulation that is planned to be introduced next week. According to information today's Zaman has learned from Education Ministry sources, the proposed regulation will not refer to the prep schools as dershanes but as private education courses, when giving them licenses. These institutions will be allowed to give courses in 3 subjects out of mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, Turkish language and literature, history, geography and philosophy. Institutions that wish to offer courses in all 8 subjects will only be allowed to do so if they offer the courses in at least 3 different buildings. High school graduates and those in their last year of school will be allowed to attend the courses, but not on the premises of their high schools. Speaking to the Turkish media, a number of legal experts have said that the proposed regulation contravenes the ruling of the Constitutional Court and the education law and so would be cancelled by the Council of State if it is introduced. According to the experts, the 66-page ruling of the Constitutional Court serves as a model for any government decision on prep schools. Before the Constitutional Court issued its ruling, Education Minister Nabi Avcı said that the government was expecting the top court to fix its mistake in its recent decision. He said that although the Constitutional Court had annulled the law that sought to close down prep schools, these institutions have been nullified and have no place in the law. We have heard rumors that in its recent decision, the court will say these schools could operate as places offering courses but not formally as prep schools from now on, Avcı said. Due to high interest from parents, some prep schools have already begun enrolling students for the coming academic year, while others are waiting for the Education Ministry to make changes to its regulations. In a surprise move, the AK Party decided in November 2013 to close down prep schools, stirring a massive debate. These schools, with their affordable fees, are regarded by middle and low-income families as equalizers of educational opportunities. The AK Party government's bill banning privately owned university preparatory schools was passed by Parliament on March 7, 2014 and signed into law by then-President Abdullah Gül 5 days later. Under this law, all prep schools were to be shut down by September 1 of this year. The CHP later challenged the law, saying it was a blow to the right to free enterprise. The CHP had filed an appeal with the Constitutional Court to annul the law last year. Prep schools are private institutes that help students prepare for standardized high school and college entrance exams. There has been concern that the law could block upward mobility in Turkish society and leave some 55,000 people jobless as a result of the closures of the schools. Sedat Dir, the vice president of the Anatolian Education Personnel Union, Anadolu Eğitim Sen, told today's Zaman on Monday that the Education Ministry's regulations must be prepared according to the laws and cannot contradict them. Emphasizing that the Constitutional Court's ruling highlights the right to education and free enterprise, Deer said that prep schools do not force anyone to pay for courses. They are simply a necessity given the state of the education system in Turkey, he said. Ayup Klc, Vice President of the Govan Preparatory Schools Owners Association, Govender, also told today's Zaman that the Education Ministry has no right to issue regulations about prep schools unless they follow the law. According to KLC, the AK party government wants to use regulations to shut down prep schools because it no longer has a majority in parliament to pass an amendment or to come up with new legislation to close down prep schools.